Trysta Krick, I don't think 5,000 yards is out of the question for Patrick Mahomes, to be quite honest, because it's not just about the fact that Xavier Worthy becomes a 100-yard game every week kind of threat. But also, if he's verdict, this was the beautiful thing about Tyreek and something Tua Tagovailoa was taking advantage of in Miami. It's not just that he's at risk for a 70-yard pop every time the ball gets snapped. It's that when he's bringing DBs back, because not only do you have to have a corner locked up, but you got a free safety over the top, or you got to shave both safeties to one side. Now, all of the sudden, a guy like a Rashee Rice, who last year was so good at finding space inside of defenses, there's more of that. Where's the tight end's favorite spot to go? Underneath whatever the first vacated level of a defense is, right? If a linebacker steps up, tight end curls underneath. If the linebacker drops up, flatten out underneath. If DBs go, run the dump route over the top of the, like that's and that's what Travis Kelce does. That's been his entire career. So I honestly think Mahomes' ability, I agree with you. I think he's got to be a 5,000-yard guy to win the MVP this year. Whether he can be or can't be is whether or not Xavier Worthy is up to the task of being the new Tyreek, which is what they drafted him to be. And I'm just not committed to saying that he is yet.
Yeah, and if you're going to do that, then you might as well look at what those odds are. Because if he's 18-1, so if that's correlated, if Patrick Mahomes only gets to 5,000 passing yards because Xavier Worthy is an offensive rookie of the year candidate and he's going crazy, and Pat Mahomes is 5-1 to win MVP, then why not just take the thing that it's correlated with, which is Xavier Worthy to win offensive rookie of the year?
I don't hate it. I mean, I again, to me, those two are linked. If one happens, there's a very good chance the other happens. And I don't know that it's not worth taking the Mahomes bet. And then if it's 18-1, putting a little bit of a sprinkle on Xavier Worthy. Like, I don't necessarily need to know that, I got to go 10 units deep on Xavier Worthy being that guy as offensive rookie of the year. So I don't have an issue with playing it out that way. But I also think that if Worthy has a big year, like I said, to me, the whole thing wraps up in if Xavier Worthy is that guy, everybody else on that offense is going to eat because of it, right? Hollywood's going to eat because of it. Rasheed's going to eat because of it. TK87 is going to eat because of it. Sorry, Mr. Swift is going to – everybody else is going to see the field open up for them. And at that point, you might have awards all over the field. Andy Reid might be back and running for Coach of the Year for no reason other than they drafted the right guy. Again, I don't necessarily love going with, and by the way, I'm looking right now at some of these odds. I think BetMGM has Xavier Worthy at 25-1 right now as offensive rookie of the year. I really don't hate a sprinkle. I don't necessarily know. Like, I like Malik Neighbors a little bit more. I think everybody and their mama likes Marvin Harrison Jr. more. If you think the offensive rookie of the year is going to be a wide receiver, Marvin Harrison Jr. catching about 7.5-1 right now. But Xavier Worthy has something that Marvin Harrison Jr. doesn't, and that is an established, trustworthy quarterback in Patrick Mahomes. Whereas, I'm going to be real, I still don't know what Kyler Murray is. I don't. We've seen flashes of brilliance, and then we have spots where I'm like, bro, would you rather play in an esports league, right? Like, would you rather be playing Call of Duty competitively than being an NFL quarterback?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure the fan base, a.k.a. Rob Brown, will riot if we find out the Berhalter is staying. In terms of a replacement, what style of a manager do you think would help turn our country's fate around in international soccer?
Well, turning our fate around is a really difficult one. I see names like tossed out like Jurgen Klopp, which was always just very funny because he literally left one of the biggest jobs in the world to take a break. So I highly doubt he wants to come over here and listen to every American complaining in his ear on how to do his job. I would have loved BJ Callahan, who took over for the team when Berhalter was, I don't know, basically out of a job for a moment there. He had them playing fantastic, and then he ends up taking a job with Nashville and MLS. The options seem to be few and far between at this moment in time. I would have preferred someone with European experience, maybe Didier Deschamps, who just got eliminated with France today, could be on the table for them, you just have to get someone that has a winning pedigree and not one of the bottom tier managers that has ever managed for this national team. And I say that unapologetically because he is just a complete disaster. The same exact team that we saw play in the Nations League, it was the same talent, and they were playing 10 times better. Even allowing a guy like Jesse Marsh to go and coach Canada was a disaster. Marcelo Bielsa was another one you had there as well. I just think that you have to go big here, and not in the sense of the biggest and sexiest name, but someone with big pedigree, someone that has managed the team deep into tournaments or just have them overachieve. The same Saudi Arabia manager who helped them beat Argentina in the World Cup that we just saw in 2022. That's like a perfect example of somebody that you want in there. I'm drawing a blank on his name. Great job. But that's the overall point. You don't want to be, grabbing this sort of pragmatic manager that doesn't have a great ideology. It's just Greg is just plugging in, playing his guys. He's not even reprimanding any of them. If you're on his side, then you're able to play. You kind of hear it with Jonathan Brooks when he was outspoken against him. We haven't seen him since, and that's one of the better defenders that the country has to offer, and he's just nowhere to be found just because he was sort of outspoken against this manager. So they have to change almost every single aspect of that and do it in under 2 years.
Is Wimbledon a place that bettors can ride streaks when a dog goes on a run like this?
Oh, that's so difficult because if you weren't playing Carlos Alcaraz, then absolutely. But you're playing against he just defeated Daniil Medvedev. What happened with him? He beat world number one. Okay, cool. Now you got to go up against the dude who won this tournament last year. Okay, cool. And then you got to play the greatest player of all time, likely in Novak Djokovic, when you reach the final. Okay, cool. So, momentum can only get you so far when you're playing against the best. He's playing the top three favorites who came into the tournament. But Medvedev, one of the reasons why he ended up upsetting Jannik Sinner today in today's match was Jannik Sinner, if you watched it, he was not okay. Potentially, now this is just rumor and hearsay, that there's a bug going around in the locker room because Novak Djokovic ran to the restroom yesterday when he wasn't even allowed to take a toilet break, and he did anyway. And Sinner ended up calling a trainer out, but it wasn't for physical ailment. So he was holding on to his stomach. He talked about how he was just woozy and was wanting to vomit, but he didn't. So I'm not going to take away from Medvedev, but definitely Sinner was not 100%. So if he was, I think potentially we could have seen a different outcome.